can't spill nothing on
No,
this
it's
plate.
fine.
What's it? Those are good on your face. Is it gold or rose gold?
Rose gold?
Yeah, you should wear those. You always wear your clear glasses.
My black ones, yeah, the black ones, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one should be fun. I think the content that we will provide for this session, because it's about something we all personally went through, or know somebody that experienced it. So I think this one's gonna be good. Can y'all believe it's 6?
I know, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's going by quick.
Mhm.
It's happening fast.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, this is good.
It's blackberry. You like
Yeah,
it?
this is very.
Oh, I did it.
You like it? You like it?
I love blackberries.
It's very
Put
good.
blackberries in your smoothies.
Yeah.
Ooh. Real good.
Yeah, I like this. I should have
That's
smelled
good.
these.
Yeah, you should. This is good.
Well,
It's like very good.
well, we know that's the next one. We're gonna get more of those. All right. Well, I guess we live. So let's tune in.
Okay.
Well, we live. So welcome to Wind It Down. This is session 6. Welcome everybody. Want to give you a few minutes to get in, get comfortable. I hope you got your wine and you're joining us. I hope that you can tap in and provide some great examples or some great conversation along with what we will be talking about today. The topic is cutting off ties with maybe your friends, maybe your family, maybe your boo, maybe your coworker, whatever. We just gonna talk about it. And the whole point of this, like I tell you guys every single week, is for me to get some ladies together to cross promote and really connect and, you know, be able to work together outside of this, that, you know, it's like a natural bond. And I just want to give good vibes to you guys and the ladies that I have with me every week. So introduce yourself, ladies.
Well, I go first. I am Sadie, and I'm from New York. You guys have seen me on the show several weeks now. Missed a couple episodes, but I am here, and as we discussed before, I'm working on my mixologist situation, and unfortunately, we can't do anything now with this coronavirus, but that's fine. And I'm working on my advice column, so that's me.
And I'm Bree. I'm the loctician, aka hustler, but you know I do hair, still doing hair. With the corona, I'm still trying to do hair. But working on my products and just trying to get things put out by 2021 as we discussed last episode. So yeah, just try to keep up with me.
All right, and I'm the host, Markia. You guys usually follow me on Simply Markia. I hope you hear on Wind It Down. A little bit of everything. I tap into a lot of avenues, but this is dear to me. So right now, I really am focused on this project. I'm being consistent with it. I don't really care for the results. I just know that I'm going to continue to do what I need to do, put it out there, and make sure that the people that I involve in it, they learn and build from it. So hope that y'all can get with it. So let's get into some questions. Y'all ready?
Yep.
All right. So let's dive into a cool little question. Okay. Have you ever been cut off by someone? And like, I'm not talking about like a temporary cutoff. I'm talking about one of those like, damn, this person really don't talk to me. This person don't like me. This person don't love me no more. Have you had one of those experiences? Have you just been fully cut off?
I'll say yeah. I have been cut off. And when I was cut off, that's how I felt. I was like, wow, what did I do to deserve this? Because everything was good, but the person cut me off because they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, and it was them being friends with me or connected with me was hurting somebody else that was important to them. So that's why I was the one that got cut off.
Wow. Okay. And how did you react to it? I know emotionally you kind of questioned why.
Oh,
but
I definitely questioned why. I reached out a couple times trying to find that closure because I realized that I'm not getting the closure I need. I'll never get it. So I just left it alone and I didn't try to keep digging. I was just like, you know what? Maybe it's a sign from God that this person is not meant to be.
It's time to let it go,
So
right?
I left it alone.
What about you, Sadie?
I haven't been cut off.
Uh-huh.
I think I do a little bit more of the cutting off.
Okay.
I don't think I've experienced being cut off. I'm trying to really think here about if I've been cut off. And I mean, who knows? Maybe I was close to being cut off, but but I might have cut you off first. So I haven't had a situation where I've been cut off. I've done most of the cutting off or cutting ties and things like that. I can't say I've dealt with being like actually, in cold turkey, like, you know what, getting on my damn nerves. I don't think I've been cut off. So.
I think I've been cut off before, not for good reason, but I have experienced being cut off, and the first initial reaction to it is usually you try to question it, like I was saying, like why, and then at some point you give up and you just say, okay, it is what it is, and it becomes that silence. And then you get comfortable with the silence, and before you know it, that time goes by, and then there's nothing but history.
Yeah, I think I've dealt with, maybe somebody not wanting the same things as me, and because of that, that's a frustrating feeling, or maybe they're not able to give me what I want. But I guess maybe I've cut them off after realizing they can't give me what I want.
Yeah.
But I haven't dealt with being cut off cold turkey, and I wonder why, a person doesn't want what I want,
Yeah.
So.
But you can't fight with a person who has their mind closed to something already.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just a waste. You could go crazy and be the best philosopher and give them the best examples, and they still ultimately would choose their own path anyway.
Absolutely.
So I don't waste my time anymore. I used to, but at this point, I just don't waste my time in trying to force someone to kind of level up with me, or to kind of understand my thoughts and kind of go with my thoughts, because sometimes they don't listen.
Yeah. And it's just not worth it.
And they already made the decision that they were going to do the opposite anyway. So you can't even really put too much pressure into it. Another question. Okay, before I start getting into the serious questions, give me a time when you had to cut someone off in your family. Have you ever had to cut off anyone in your family? Because I know family is a tricky one.
Yeah, family is a tricky one.
Because it's almost one of those things where it's unconditional love. So sometimes it's not that. Yes.
I'm gonna fight your ass in a minute, my family.
So, hey,
Yeah, right. So, for family, I've had, disagreements. I had a cousin, as a matter of fact, who we got into it. Regarding, like, there was a funeral, and her aunt wasn't mentioned in the obituary, and she pretty much came at my mom was the one who did the obituary, and she came at me about it, like feeling some type of way. But when you're dealing with death, and the person, it was actually my mom's brother. So if you're dealing with death, and my mom is the only one to do the obituary, to sit down and talk about his life and all of that stuff, sometimes you forget. And she accidentally left somebody, I guess, that was very important out. And my cousin, and she took it really personally.
She wanted to beat her ass.
Yeah, she was. she took it. And she was so upset. And for me, I understood, but it was the way she went about it. So at that time, I mean, we're good now, but at that time, I had to cut her ass off for just, not understanding, like, there's a bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? She didn't intentionally leave anyone out. It was just a matter of the situation, under the circumstances, you got a lot of pressure, you're trying to do it right. It's, it's hard. So with that situation, yeah, I definitely had to cut my cousin off for a little bit. And now, we're back and better than ever. Things are good, but I had to cut your ass off for a minute. So.
Go ahead, Bree.
Y'all know I'm close to my family, real close. I've never had to cut off a family member. But friends, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People, I've definitely had to cut a lot of people off because I'm one to protect my energy. Everybody knows this. I'm a very joyous, happy person, so I feel like if I meet somebody and they're always trying to either bring negative energy every single time or be just in a bad mood or things like that, or just be real nasty with me, you gotta go. Like, and I would tell you just like that, you have to go. I can't do it. I don't care how much history we have, but it just gotta go. So I've definitely cut off friends, people that I used to talk to. That's ultimately how we end up not talking anymore is because I'm like, all right, I can't do this, cut you off.
Before we go into friends, because I have a good question that is going to go into the friend thing. For family, so we can get off of that. For me, my situation was I did have to cut a family member off. It was a cousin that was really dear to me. But she did something terrible, and it was almost one of those things where you either soak in it or you completely disconnect from it.
Mm-hmm.
She had murdered her baby, and she used to watch my daughter, and at that point, my mind said, I can't ever talk to her again.
Wow.
And it was easy for my grandmother to not so much forgive her, but give her a open chance.
Yeah.
I didn't have that in my heart to say, oh, let me hear your side. And even with her being incarcerated and being in jail, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want you to write me. I'm not interested in any type of relationship with you.
Yeah, I had to cut my uncle. I didn't really cut him off. I think, sometimes you have situations, I guess, as a child that you don't really understand. For me, I have an uncle who has AIDS, and he was actually, having intercourse with women with, just kind of, yeah.
And he knew this.
And he didn't care. Yeah. And for me, I've struggled with, I still dealt with him as, being family, but every time me and my mom or we talk about it, we get on the subject, it's just like,
It's heartbreaking.
what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody did that to like your niece or your daughter or your whoever, you would, so we were never that close, but if we were close, I would have had to cut your ass off because of that.
For me, my breaking point with my cousin was her sanity. I couldn't trust if what she was telling me was even true. Because she was so up and down with her trial and the situation, and me and my older sister had a talk about it. She decided to cut her off too because she used to watch my sister's children too, and she's like, what if?
Yeah.
And just the whole thought process behind it just kind of just took us somewhere else. And
do you know what caused her to murder her baby? Did she have mental health issues?
she may have had postpartum.
Okay.
Which
But-
can be very
So the
serious.
baby.
Yeah, the baby was only 6 months, and she had 2 other kids, and the other 2 kids were in the house as well when this was happening. So who knows? I don't know. Who
Yeah.
knows what would have happened if it didn't get stopped when it got stopped?
Wow, that's crazy.
And just to see your family member on the news and
Right.
to hear those details,
Right.
it was too much.
So let me ask this: does she have any support now? Like, is there
I don't
anyone
know.
who's saying like, I understand what you not I understand what you did, but let me just kind of talk to you and give you that support, because now you're left alone. And
Oh, my
maybe
grandfather,
you
he still is all up in her life. He's
Yeah.
all up in the loop. He makes sure that the kids are okay. He cares. And like I said, older people have a different way of showing their love, and they have a different way of going about things. I'm a lot younger than my grandpa and my grandma, so I'm like,
I don't think I could.
I think I would want to understand it, and that's maybe the only thing that would keep me in, her life or something. I would want to understand why you did what you did, you know? I mean, it's not something, most people are not open to, let me see what happened or what's wrong, or just being, supportive in that type of situation. But for me, I think I would still be there just to understand.
Right.
But,
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's very
And it's gonna take time before I get to that point. So I won't say it will be a forever cut, but right now it's a clear cut for me.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, now let's dive into the friends. Let's get off this family. Let's bring it back up. Sorry, we brought it down. But no, family is very tricky. The love is different, the boundaries are different, your thought process is different versus your friends. So, I really want to talk about what are the signs that you guys see when your friend is toxic? How do you know you have the toxic friend?
That's a good question.
I'll start it off. So, I think some of the signs are, when they kind of just use you to dump off everything that they have going on, right? And they don't have any intention on hearing how your life is. And if they do, it's more like, oh, how was your day? Anyway,
Yeah.
they have those people. We've all probably been in company of a person like that. I really had to sit back and take a great look at those type of people, because they don't know they're the toxic person. They would not accept the fact that they are the toxic person, but they would dump all their bullshit on you. You can give them the best advice, and they still would engage and just swim in the bullshit that they live in, and they don't want to get out of it. They say they do, because they're calling you to vent about it, but really they just want somebody to dump all of their baggage on, get it off, and then be able to proceed and say, I talked to such and such about it, but you had no action that followed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then another toxic trait would be people who are very selfish. Very selfish, all about what they got going on. Like, if they have a business, support me, buy my stuff, or be there for me, but then you have something going on, and you're like, oh, that's cute.
Right. That's what you're really doing?
Yeah, or they find a way to hate on your situation. And you like, I ain't even feeling your shit, but I'm supporting you know, and so what have y'all experienced, or what signs do y'all see when y'all find that toxic friend that is around you? What do you see?
I think for me, it's just the negativity. Like you said, it has a lot to do with what type of energy you're putting out. Every time you call me, you kind of draining me with your negative energy. But I think I don't normally cut people off with that type of energy. My problem is I'm trying to help you and fix it. And so I have to deal with a lot of, and people tell me all the time, well, no, that's not your problem. You know what I'm saying? You need to just kind of take a step back. But I'm so worried about,
You still stay in it?
yeah, let me just see
Let me
how
help you,
you're doing, or let me see if I can help you, or let's try to elevate, let's try to, bring positivity into our lives. And, it never works out. So eventually I have to cut your ass off. But, ultimately I want to see if I can help you with your situation.
At what point does your help just become a waste? Or does it never come
I think
voice you?
You know what it is? Once it becomes a situation where I can tell that you're not, showing gratitude like we talked about in one of our previous episodes, but one of the main things is if you're not showing gratitude, once you start to become disrespectful, y'all know I had a situation recently where that happened, and I had to, you gotta get the boot, because you're not showing any type of, and I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I am not saying, get on your knees and be like, thank you so much, but it's just like, it's your behavior, you know what I'm saying? Show that, you appreciate a little bit of what a person is doing for you, because a simple, understanding or showing that really, it does a lot, you'd be surprised, it goes far. So for me, I think just once I realized that it's just not, and this is, I guess, it takes a while for me to get there, for me to just be like, you know what, you cut the hell off. Or if I see that, if you shady, talking about me, I heard it and I keep hearing it and things like that, then it turns into a situation where now I'm gonna cut you off. And I've had several friends that I've had to be like, you know what, you talking about me, you starting stuff, you doing stuff, I'm done, it's a wrap. And that's just how it goes for me.
What's your take on it, Bree?
So my take on toxic friends, some things that I've noticed for people who have been toxic is it's like a cycle. You start noticing that they're doing the same things over and over.
And they don't want to break
And they
that.
don't want to break it.
Yeah.
And they always feel like there's nothing wrong with them. So usually if I have somebody who I believe is a toxic friend, I try to put myself in their shoes or the other person's shoes that they were dealing with, they're having an issue with, or whatever situation they're having issues with. And it's just like, you don't see what you're doing. Like, it's not that person that's making your life hell, it's you making your life hell.
Yeah.
So just, just little things that I see, that the cycle revolving bullshit that it lets you know that they're toxic. And not all the time because they're friends and we want to cut them off, but you cut them off to a certain extent. Because I have a friend and it's like, I've cut them off to a certain extent. We used to do so much, and then I started noticing that
now minimum, right?
Right. I had to stop opening up myself so much to you because you were gonna start, like what they say, birds of a feather flock together. Like, nah, I don't need that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you gotta break that negative cycle, because some people love it, they live in it, they bathe in it, and they don't have any intentions in getting out. And they want you as that good friend around them, but you can only do so much before it becomes overwhelming to you.
Right.
And you have to kind of cut slowly, not just, you have to cut it down to a minimum, and you can't really rock and roll with them like you used to because of their actions and the things that they have going on.
it's good.
Right.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
Blackberry and peach is a good mix, huh?
Okay.
Okay, so I have a little advice that I want to give in regards to those toxic friends before we move into the bays and the boots. When you have a toxic friend and you don't really want to fully cut them off, but you do want to cut it to a minimum and not really give them as much energy as you usually would, I would just say never gossip about them. Gossiping only makes you dirty, and it makes you roll in the mud right along with them and their bullshit. And then I would also say is you never need to give them too much advice because really they're not listening anyway.
Yeah.
So you can love them, you can support them, you can call them and be like, girl, what you got on? What you doing on Friday? But try not to tap into their issues. You know what I mean? Try not to really tap into them. I know.
Sorry.
Try not to tap into their issues as much if you can. Kind of curb it every time they want to talk about it if you still want to be friends with them.
Right.
And that's just the best thing we could do, because at that point, if the dynamic is set up to where the only conversation you're going to have is about their problems, y'all don't need to be friends anyway. And so so you don't really need to entertain them anyway. But if you do want to keep the friendship, don't gossip about them. Let them soak in their bullshit and deal with it, but don't spread it because it just makes you just as dirty as them and their bullshit anyway.
That's facts.
So that's the advice I would give is towards the friends. Now let's move into like, it doesn't have to be relationships, but guy friends, boos, baes, all of those people. Have you ever had to cut a guy off, flat out cut him off?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of times.
That
Cut off queen, baby. What you mean?
And I know it happens, and I thought this would be a really good conversation because, sure. I know this happened to all of us. We had to cut somebody off, whether it just be something as mediocre as I'm not feeling how this person is texting me, we gotta cut this. Or something major, we have got way too invested, this ass went too far, this is becoming crazy, gotta go. You can you give me some type of example? It doesn't have to be, I don't need you to dive into names and, all of the deets, but have you ever had to cut some babe or boo or friend, like guy friend off like completely and you don't have any intentions of talking to them in current day 2020?
So for me, I have cut a lot. I have cut a lot of guys off in my little life. So let's see. I want to just start with what you said about if you're interested in talking to them again in 2020. I think I've cut a lot of guys off, but even with me cutting a lot of guys off, I've also been the person that's like, if you reach out to me at some point, I don't mind speaking to you. I don't know why that is. I don't care.
You nice sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
You mean what you nice.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know how to just be like, you know what? Oh, let me
You're
see.
blocked. How did you get this number?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Cause you know what it is? In the moment, I'm like, F you, get the F off my phone. I don't got time to deal with you. And your nonsense, so go ahead. You know what I'm saying? But it's like afterwards, when I'm not mad anymore, I'm just like, okay, I don't have a problem with trying to, but we don't have to rekindle anything.
But you can be cordial.
But as far as being cordial, but I have cut several guys off in my life, between exes or situations that I've had and you are not doing what you're supposed to do, or what I feel needs to be done to keep the situation going or whatever. I have definitely had to cut ties and just be like, you know what, on to the next. And a lot of it comes from you want to grow, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to grow, you want to be a better person. So you kind of do it for you and not for the other person, and it's not always out of anger. It's just like, cause I have situations or, guys that may be wonderful, you know what I'm saying? Or seem to be great, but if the situation, something is wrong or something is off, I'm not mad at you, I don't hate you, but I gotta let you go because it's not what's best for me. So.
Girl, that's the story of my life.
Yeah.
Check out.
So yeah.
It's the one.
No, that's usually like the situation with me is like, I do get a lot of guys that they just feel like they can offer me so much. And I mean, that's any woman really. You're gonna meet a lot of men that feel like they can offer you something, like they stand out from the rest. And it's not to say that they don't, but if we don't have that click, that chemistry, that something that's more in depth than just our physical and the high and a conversation type thing, then it's not gonna work out for me. So I'm gonna give you a chance, and that's the chance of trying to get to know you, trying to get to know me. But if that little spark, if it don't fly,
So it's no more text, no more phone calls.
man, I want to stop texting in a heartbeat. Let me tell you, a heartbeat.
When you're promoting for your events, and they like respond or comment on it, do you curve them and just be like, oh thanks?
for my events.
Yeah.
But that's money. So I'm responding.
Yeah.
But most people don't want it. I mean, I kind of give off that vibe that I'm not gonna mess with her because she look like she gonna curve me. I give off that. I've been told that. Like you just look like you the curve queen, and it's like it's not a good thing, but at the same time, right now, that's what I want. I don't want people to just be like, yeah, every now and then I get DMs saying, oh, beautiful, babe. Left on red. I say thank you. If it's a sweet message, I say I appreciate it. But once they start going further, like, so what's your name? What's your number? Like, can I take you out? I'm like, sorry, next buddy. Boom, leave it at that. That's my response every time, whether I'm in a relationship or not. And it's just because you can just kind of get the vibe.
Keep it cute.
Yeah, you keep it cute. It's simple. Now, if somebody's persistent or consistent, and then they'll be like, let me see.
What's your question?
How do we cut them off? How do we do that? Like if you dealing with somebody, or whether it's a boyfriend, a boo, a situation, or somebody you even just went on a date with, or gave you a number or whatever. How do you just
because
some people will give them some people will give them a little bit of closure, or things like that. Do you do that?
No, not every time. I've done that before when I felt like it was necessary to somebody who was really being genuine.
Yeah.
Really wanted to get to know me.
Yeah.
And I really had to sit down and tell them, like, look, this is just where I'm at in life.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I feel about the situation. We can be cool, but as far as it going any further, I'm just not with it. And I feel like you deserve much more than what I'm willing to give you. So, and I would tell them just like that, because I feel like they'll accept that more than you just being like, them going to somebody else's source and be like, man, you gonna answer this person's phone, but I've been trying to call you, and then now you're looking like, So you just kind of got to break it down to them in a nice way, and they will respect it. They really will.
Wow.
I don't know if I cut off any, guys, I haven't had a buffet amount of men in my life.
She lying.
I haven't. I'm trying to see if I've cut anybody. I cut friends off easy.
Yeah. But guys, you ever had to cut anybody off? Wow, that's good.
Sometimes it fades out. You've had those times where you had conversations with guys, and both parties see that this ain't really going nowhere. I thought you was something more or something different.
Right.
And when you're not that, they kind of weed themselves out.
That's true.
Yeah, so it just like the texts and the calls, it just kind of
dies out, and before you know it, it's just like, oh, what's up? Every once in a few months or something, and that's like on a Instagram post, or they might check in on like Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, and you're like, who is this? And you thinking for 3 days, like, who is this? And then it all comes back like, oh, this number is such and such,
So I was thinking that was like cutting up too.
What?
What she's saying, but that's majority. I think that's what we be experiencing, where it be like we meet people and it dies off.
Yeah.
But I be looking at it as cutting off because I'm not gonna text your ass.
That's what I look
like I'm
at.
not gonna text you.
Yeah.
So.
But I think I don't think it's cutting off if it's mutual.
Okay.
Like if you guys, if it dies down on both parties, or with both parties, then to me it's not cutting off. But if somebody else is, persistent, and you're just kind of like, I'm not answering this, I'm not answering, then you cut it off.
So since we talked about closure, the advice that I kind of made a note about closure that I wanted to share with you girls is when it comes to cutting people off, stop looking for them to give you closure. True closure comes when you make the committed decision, to actually use the scissors they handed you instead of keeping them in your pocket to cause you more pain. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was trying to go into, and none of us really cut.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? If you do have that one that you are deeply in love with, and it's coming to that point where it's going this way, sometimes they hand you the scissors.
Yeah.
And you have to use them, because if you continue to hold them in your pocket and you're like, oh, we have this history, we have this love, sometimes it's going to cause you more misery and pain anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well just use those scissors because they said, I don't want you as much as I used to.
Right.
Take me out of your equation, and you still hold on, you playing yourself.
Right.
Even with the love, even with that, you're depriving yourself of something so beautiful outside of that.
Yeah.
Whether you dealing with somebody else or just working on yourself.
Right.
And
I
so
think it's a very hard situation, or very hard thing to do if, like you said, Bree, when you have someone who is genuinely like in love with you or wanting to be with you, and
Right.
you have to cut them off because of whatever you might be going through, or you might have a lot
sometimes
going
you'll fold
on.
and you'll answer those texts, you'll answer those
Yeah.
calls, and you be like,
Yeah, and it's you know, it's kind of heartbreaking when the situation is not because they did anything wrong or
Exactly.
whatever. When you just gotta say, look, I got a lot going on.
It just wasn't
and
it
I
for it,
can't.
right?
Yeah, I can't do this right now. You know that's and then you gotta wonder, dang, am I trying to cut you off or did I cut you off because you know I'm afraid? Or am I cutting you off and what if I cut you off and you're the one? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
You always
you're
have
the
that in the back of your
person-
mind.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So it's kind of it's a tough that's a tough one.
oh yeah, that is tough.
But I feel like if they don't want, they don't happen.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
long run. If it's meant to be, then it's
The
gonna be.
universe is gonna make that happen.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's weird, but it happens.
Yeah.
So let's move into our screw it moment. Last week, did we have a screw it moment?
I don't think so. We
I
were
think
so faded last week. Sorry, we were so done last week. Y'all probably saw it like, oh, they had too much wine. I don't know, but I don't think we had a screw it moment. Like, our screw it moment was drinking. That was our.
Well, we have a screw it moment this time.
Right.
Okay. So with being at home and quarantining, and we're watching everything, stuff that we don't usually tap into or care too much to even read into. So before we started this, we were talking about NBA YoungBoy and the situation.
But yeah.
Yeah, Bree can shed some light on that.
Okay.
Bree, give the rundown, and then I'll ask
It's
the
a good
question.
little rundown. Alright, so apparently Mayweather's daughters had an altercation with NBA YoungBoy's fifth baby mother. And after the altercation, went back into the crib and saw her with NBA YoungBoy and stabbed NBA YoungBoy's baby mother. I think her name is Shay, I believe. Y'all don't quote me on that. But yeah, so stabbed the baby mother, and the baby mother was in hospital critical condition. And Yaya is looking at facing some charges.
Wow.
And the reason why I made this a screw it moment because this is a really
That was good.
this is a really bizarre and realistic situation.
Oh.
This is not the first couple or this is not the first time we've heard something like this. I think because of his level of fame.
Mm.
Look,
And
the
hers
age
too.
of
Their age.
What? This? Oh, yeah, I can't even.
This is a different type of love.
This ain't love. This ain't love.
For them it is.
Yeah, I
For
see what
them
you're
it
saying.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
You're
For them
right.
it is.
You're
We're a
right.
little older and we think different. So, at that age,
Wow. Yeah.
coming up with all that money and a different type of lifestyle, who knows what we would have did at that age.
I was about to say, would you guys have done it?
No, I was in church praise dancing.
Maybe so.
I'm with you. Maybe. Depending on the situation.
Sometimes you just don't
And,
think
don't
like
think
that.
we're horrible people, y'all. It's just, sometimes it gets a little intense. So
I never experienced that.
Yeah,
Like I said, I was in church. I'm a shelter.
Sometimes your aggression comes out in different ways, and I don't know what we don't know the details. We wasn't in the house. However, these are two people who are all over each other right now. I can't keep up with him. I like his music, but I can't keep up with him. It's a lot going on.
It's so recent too. You know this.
And then I know at that age, I don't know Floyd, But I'm just assuming. This is just assuming. She's at that age where he's probably like, do your thing, cause he's not gonna try to control her.
Mhm.
He can give her the best lawyers. He can give her the best of everything, but he cannot tell her who to love. He cannot tell her how to react and how to show her love and how to deal with her emotions when it comes to love. He can give her advice from his point of view as an older man, but I think he's just kind of taking the back seat with it because he's kind of like, no matter what I say, they're going to use everything against me because I'm her father.
Absolutely.
And of his, his family
Status,
and his status. So I think at that point, you kind of could just sit back and just kind of let it happen and just be some type of support. But I don't think he's going to engage in it too much because what else? I mean, he's only going to push his daughter closer to that man if he goes against her, you know.
Yeah.
She's that type of child.
See why?
Wow.
So that was the screw moment. You have anything to say about that?
I mean,
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was crazy because with NBA YoungBoy to literally hours after the incident get on live with her. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about, but he was like, "This is my wife," blah blah blah. Like he was talking to Kodak. But why would you get on live and talk to Kodak about something that's this is serious? They put you in handcuffs. You had nothing to do with it, but they put you in handcuffs, and you want to get on live right after everything, and with the girl in the background talking to Kodak because you feel like Kodak came at you crooked. Kodak is Kodak, okay? Let him be in prison and entertain himself. That's what he's doing. He's getting a kick out of this.
What did Kodak say?
Girl.
What happened that made him go to Kodak?
I can't even tell you right now, but I know Kodak said something that ticked him off.
Okay.
And his response was.
His response was real. You gotta watch it. We're gonna show her that.
Yeah, they're gonna show me because I have no idea.
But it's just like in a situation like that, Layla, you have great music. You don't have to do all. I mean, I know you're underrated. I honestly, y'all agree with me that NBA is underrated as an artist, not as a person.
Oh yeah.
As an artist.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know if he was trying to use this clout with Kodak and all that for his.
He don't need it. He got
He
6
don't.
million something
That's what I'm
followers. Give me some of
saying.
them.
That's what I'm saying. But hey, you never know what people are going through. I just felt like
Yeah,
all
he said
time,
that
all
might be
time.
small to him. That might be
Exactly.
nothing.
Yep.
So do y'all think like anything warrants another person's, stabbing someone because, they're in love or whatever?
No, she crazy as hell.
Yeah.
I think that
Attempted murder.
sometimes it's almost like